Leaving that now to take you live to Sydney, where the Immigration Minister, Scott Morrison, is speaking to reporters.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming together. There are two matters that I wanted to comment on today. Two very significant matters involving, first of all, Australian effort on protecting our borders, Operation Sovereign Borders, and secondly, the outstanding work that is being done by the Australian Customs and Border Protection Service, together with our law enforcement agencies at both federal and state level, regarding the very significant seizure which has just been announced here in Sydney. First of all, in relation to Operation Sovereign Borders, earlier today I issued a statement which made it very clear that we have just returned 37 passengers on a people smuggling venture from Sri Lanka to Sri Lanka. There was one individual who is being transferred to offshore processing facilities to further look into information that he provided regarding his own situation, but all 37 of the other passengers were returned. There is no greater deterrent to protecting our borders and stopping boats coming to Australia than by stopping the boats physically and returning those vessels from whence they came. That's the policy that has been the standout performer of the suite of measures that we've introduced since we've been in government, which has led to just one venture making it to Australia this year. So I commend the work of our Customs and Border Protection Service and Border Protection Command, together with Operation Sovereign Borders, that has resulted in yet again another successful and safe return, doing everything consistent, of course, with our international obligations. I note that the opposition continue to oppose turnbacks. Bill Shorten will never do a turnback if he were to ever to become Prime Minister. And so if Bill Shorten were to ever have that opportunity, then he'd be bringing the boats with him, because Bill Shorten does not have the ticket for turnbacks, and neither does anyone in the Labor Party. This government has proved its resolve on our borders, and that was demonstrated again overnight and over the last 2 weeks on that operation. In relation to the seizure, which has been announced today by the Customs and Border Protection Service, the Australian Federal Police, the Crime Commission, and of course the New South Wales Police Force, I commend everyone who has been involved in this effort. Even before today, the level of detections was double what it was this time last year. This latest detection, this latest seizure, will see that increase exponentially. This seizure was the result of on-the-ground frontline activity, in the first instance by the Customs and Border Protection Service, acting on intelligence, which has led to this seizure, which was then engaged in working with other law enforcement authorities to bring it to the point which was announced today. This is what happens when you invest in border protection. It's not just about stopping the boats, it's also about stopping the drugs as well, as we have seen today with this record haul, with all of our agencies working so closely together. Now, those operations are ongoing, and we will continue to work together as a team to see this one through. But the border is a choke point for criminals, and that's why you have to invest so heavily in our border, as we have as a government. 88 million straight off the bat into increased screening activity, and then 700 million in the budget over 6 years to ensure that we reverse the cuts from under the previous government, and of course the more recent investment of 150 million on counter-terrorism funding for work on the border. Thanks.